Good afternoon, everyone. This is Oren Glickman, one of the commissioners of the TABC Summer Basketball League, alongside my partner in crime for this edition, Jack Turell. And looked like we had Captain Heideiman of the Hornets about to pop in, and then he popped out.
He popped in and out, yeah.
This is the first ever edition of the TABC Summer League preview show, where Jack and I will dissect the first round matchups, see who has the opportunity to pull off the upset, and who's the favorite going in. Jack, how you doing on this fine Thursday morning?
I'm doing great. There's nothing that gets me more excited than playoff basketball and talking hoops, man. I love two things more than I love anything, and that's hoops and that's playoff ball. And now we got two.
I got to be completely honest. I don't think anyone's a stranger that I was president, head announcer, Max Live. Called a lot of big, important Max games in my life.
Oh yeah.
I've never been the host of a preview show before, so I definitely got some nerves for this one.
Dude, you're a legend. You're a legend of Max Live. You set the tone, and this is just the obvious transition as it goes on. You know, it's the next step is the preview show, and then we got loads to go. I'm pumped. Y'all watching back home.
Gonna actually share my screen now.
Where's Heidi? Get Heideman on. I hear he's a great speaker, by the way. Rumor has it Heideman can rock a room when he speaks. So I was excited to get him on. I don't know where he went.
I don't know what happened there. All right, I need sharing access, and then I'll we'll take a look at my at the previews that I composed last night.
How do I give you sharing access?
And then we'll see where you agree and where you differ.
How do I give you sharing access?
You need to go to the right side.
Yep.
And then make me a co-host.
Co-host. Yep. Got it. You're the man.
All right. Now it should be good.
And Heideman is in.
All right. All right. We got one of the captains on the show.
Heidi.
All right. Can you see this?
Baby. Yeah, we're ready to go. I could see it. We got Captain Hyde in. Apparently a legendary speaker is what I hear. I heard you rock the house.
An MVP and a captain. He sounds even better when he's not on mute.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit. I'm like talking to you guys. I'm like, what?
All right. You didn't miss much. We're just doing the intro with the first ever edition of the TABC Summer League Playoff Basketball Preview Show. And
hold on a second. Who's are you broadcasting this? Who's seeing it?
Yeah, it's on the. It's going to be on the Instagram.
Post it after.
The whole episode.
Whole
episode, whole enchilada.
No swearing item.
Oh yeah, you got.
So 9 days. Let's keep it PG.
I'm gonna grab my AirPods. Hold on.
All right. So Jack, can you see the playoff previews right now?
I see it. I'm ready to go.
All right.
Throw it at me, baby. Throw it at me. I'm pumped.
It's win or go home now. The playoffs are finally here. Below is the preview of each first round matchup with the commissioner's pick. Commissioner being yours truly. All right. The number 8 Pacers and the number 1 Timberwolves, the number 1 undefeated Timberwolves and the number 8 winless Pacers. Jack, you actually had the opportunity to go toe-to-toe with the Pacers last night.
Yeah, no.
You went to town on them in the second half. What were your thoughts about them?
Okay, listen, I'm just going to break down this matchup. I feel terrible for the Pacers. The T-Wolves, I get to watch them against the Lakers. This team is an excellent team. They're built beautifully. They have smart basketball players. They're led by 2 lefties. Ori Schwartz is a first teamer last year. This guy could really play, and he's a great passer and a great shooter. Then you got Hammy Alexander. He's the MVP. I went up against him in the 3-on-3 tournament. This guy doesn't give up on plays. You could block him 3 times. He'll still get the rebound and put it up. It's not someone that you want to battle with. So they're going to have trouble with him. And Akiva Gottlieb looks like Mason Wedgel 2 or 1.5. Like he could really play. And then you got Rosen could shoot. This team is built beautifully. And this is the exact kind of scenario of like 2 examples of how to draft versus how not to draft. And I don't mean to be mean. I'm just going to be honest. That's what I'm on here for. And I'm just going to call it how I see it. This T-Wolves team is constructed perfectly. On the flip side, this Pacers team isn't. They had the luxury of having JJ Zackheim, who's an excellent player last night. And Deutsch is really good. And Bookbinder, I'm a huge fan of. I think he's great. I think he's a great defender and he's a great piece.
It's taken a few steps though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Back.
think. What's up?
Taking a few steps back since his heyday.
I guess I didn't get the chance to play against him in his heyday. I got a chance to play against him last night, and I thought he was really good. What the Pacers could do and what they're going to try to do to win is slow this game down on their end. Probably play a zone. Probably keep the T-Wolves from trying to beat them on the inside. I know the T-Wolves can shoot. How good can they shoot? That's a good question. Like if I'm the Pacers, I'm probably putting a bookbinder on Hammy and forcing him right. I'm trying to get the ball out of Gottlieb's and Schwartz's hands and trying to move the ball. I'm going zone. I'm trying to slow it down for the T-Wolves, keep it small, keep it a low-scoring game, grind it out like what the Grizzlies did. The Grizzlies almost beat the T-Wolves by grinding it out, slowing it down, low-scoring game. And on the opposite end, I'm trying to get quick and easy buckets if I'm the Pacers. But this is going to be a really hard match. This T-Wolves team is really good.
So I think it's safe to say that all three of us,
The bathrooms.
it's unanimous that the Timberwolves are winning this game. But at the same time, I note here in my preview that there's a bit of a plot twist with good role players in Benheim and Pinchot being out of action. So you think that could potentially make the game a little bit more fun on account of that?
Not fun. I think it allows the Pacers an opportunity to get it back, to get this game slow. I think they need to go zone. I think they need to take away easy baskets and try to force contested threes. That's their chance.
Ironically, the closest game they played all year was against Captain Heideiman in the first game of the season. They lost to them in overtime.
Short-handed.
All right. So three guys voting for the Timberwolves here. It's unanimous.
Yeah, no, this is the Timberwolves matchup. But if I'm the Pacers, like I'm looking at the Grizzlies game, I'm probably calling Oren and saying, what did they do? And again, I'm trying to make it a low scoring game. I'm trying to play a zone and force contested threes. And on the opposite end, I'm trying to get easy buckets and take my time on the offense. Take my time just to get buckets. Don't take a bad shot. If that's their shot.
That's what I agree with. I think, as you said before, you mentioned Pacers need to get quick buckets. If I'm the Pacers, I'm controlling the clock. This is almost like an NFL game. I'm seeing this as you got. If this score is running up to the 60s, 70s, 80s, it's going to be a blowout. They need to control the clock, keep it a low-scoring game, trust our defense. When we play them, they got lanky, long defenders. That's their only strength, if at all. So they got to control the clock, control the game, keep it low-scoring, play the defense, and that'll be their shot.
I agree. It's going to be close by any stretch of the imagination. It's got to be a low-scoring game for them to pull off the upset. Also, the Pacers have an identity crisis. Let's be honest. Ike Prieser was their captain going into the season. He went down after game one, and it's kind of been unclear who's leading the team now. Is it Goff Feld? Is it Yoav Deutsch? It's very confusing.
I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah.
Look, I just
it's going to plague mankind for years.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we know Heideiman's going to have a lot on his mind for the next week.
I think I have one too. I have some ideas.
Jack, take it away, man.
I'll take it away.
Take it away, please.
No. Let's give the captain first. The opening here.
Wow. So tough thing here about the playoffs and about the season is that, especially when you have me and Jack on as guests, we're both in the East. So we haven't seen any of the West teams. It'd be nice to have sort of a West-East guys, but I'm just looking at the roster, man. I know all these guys. Lakers, I just got to say, I'm very, very impressed with the way that you are 6-1, Oren. I mean, I guess that's because they got the commissioner.
You're getting more credit than we deserve.
5-2, sorry, right? Because with the heartbreaker, right? 5-2. I mean, listen, I'm just going down the roster.
If anyone has that Nolman buzzer beater, please send it my way because that Instagram.
I even sprinted and make sure we were recording. I sprinted from my house. My wife's like, "Where the hell are you going?" I'm like, "You don't understand. This game is gonna go in the OT." Like I had to sprint.
I told Joe Klein, Benji Klein's twin, who's on my team. I told him, "Listen."
No, Benji Klein's on your team.
Yeah, Benji Klein's on his team, but Joe's always there to support his family. And I told Joe, "Listen, I think we're going to tie this game at the buzzer." The thing is, once Josh Klein was fouled and he missed those first two free throws, no one thought that we were going to get the offensive rebound off Hammy Alexander. You know?
Just to think, if Klein hit the second one, you guys would have won.
Oh man, would have been even better.
So let me give my 2 cents. First off, so I'm picking the Lakers. No offense to Heideiman, just I'm going with record. I'm going to go with the favorite. I like what I've seen, how they're constructed. Like, I understand that Heideiman, you're saying you're looking down. I don't see any superstar. Like, how am I going to stop this guy? No, but I like how they're constructed and put together, and that's carried them. I'm going to break it down. I'm not like a lot of, some people I've heard. I really like Stevie Paul as the first pick, and I know firsthand what it's like to be on the receiving end of a beatdown by Stevie, as I got it last year in the playoffs. This guy is a real tough matchup.
So that's why you had to return the favor,
huh? Well, I got lucky to know a couple things. The weakness in the Hornets and in the way they were constructed is you draft Stevie first, which is a great pick, but you want to surround Stevie with spacing or a point guard. So where I think the Hornets lack is shooters to surround him or a point guard. But on the flip side, where I think the Hornets could take care of the Lakers is the Lakers are stubborn. They're not going to want to go zone or pack the paint and force the shooting. They're going to want to go man. If I'm that case and I'm Stevie and I'm Captain Heideiman, I'm telling him, enforce your will today. In John Wickham, like, enforce your will, stay down low. Like, I know you want Stevie driving, but just bang, bruise, get a couple quick fouls. Who cares? Get physical. Nolman is a nice guy. I want you to be a mean guy. Blumenthal's a sweetheart. I want you to be mean today. Like, get after the boards, pound the paint, have Mikey Mitnick dump off. And if they double, I'm kicking out. I'm kicking to Heideiman. I'm telling, if I'm Heideiman, I'm getting my team in a gym this week to shoot 100 threes, and I'm pounding it to Stevie, and we're kicking and we're shooting. And that team could be beat with size, as we saw the Kings went up 15. So and then on the flip, if they get in a situation where they're not getting Stevie good looks and they're taking contested threes, the Hornets could get themselves into trouble really quickly.
I mean, that's our vulnerability if we have one. Our team is the type of team where Stevie Paul can prey on us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so. But yes. And the thing is, I mean, Jack, you hit it on the nail. I don't know if it's the draft. I don't know if it was my draft position, but Stevie needs to be surrounded by shooters. So Stevie was the first round pick, and I'm all in for that pick. I'll do it over and over again. I was placed as a second round pick. I'll be the first to say it. Shooting is not my top priority. And I got Mikey Minnick. I figure a point guard with 2 bigs, that would be big. But it turns out that shooting became our weakness. We don't have any spot shooters. And so I don't know if you guys noticed last game though. Here's where I think we can turn this around and easily make this.
Ephraim Sachs played well in that last game, so he.
That's where I was going with this.
Yeah, he can grow into that role.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, he probably is. If there was a shooter on the team, he's probably the shooter. And we're out Yoel Pollock for the rest of the season. The guy's a master in the high post, and he's a defensive role player, and he knows his position. He knows his skill. We're missing him, but if Ephraim Sachs can turn up and facilitate, Jack, like you were saying, have a solid point guard to help out with Stevie, then he can really grow into that role that he showed last game that I expected at the beginning of the season. And you got me on the wing, and you got Stevie down low, Mikey on the other wing. That's a stretch, big, facilitating team. That's a solid team, and our strength is a rock solid defense. So that goes back to what I was saying at the beginning. This team seems very controllable. This team being the Lakers, very controllable. We play to our strength, which is have a rock solid, unrelenting defense, man defense, hardcore, down your throat, full court press kind of defense, and we're able to facilitate, move the ball. And just like we said about the Pacers game, we got to keep it a little bit more low scoring. This game is not a 5-2 against a 2-5. This is 0-0 and 0-0, and these teams are matched so perfectly right here. This is an easy 50-50 shot right now.
I mean, even though I have the Lakers, I have it as a close game. Jack, do you at least think it'll be a close game?
Do you want my honest opinion?
Go for it.
look, I think the Hornets need to do all this stuff in preparation and really come in with that mentality and shoot a lot of threes. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Lakers are going to run away. But I could be wrong. I want to be proven wrong. I'm just here to give my honest opinion. I think the Lakers have been, whereas, you know, they have this potential, the Hornets, to make this an excellent game. Hit a ton of threes, feed Stevie, get him going, punish him, mean, all that stuff. But the Lakers have been doing this consistently as a unit all season. So like you said, I like going into playoffs in good form. And the Lakers, even though you look at him and go like, come on, who's, you know, is Isaac Morowitz going to score 30? Like he's not that kind of guy. Nolman, you know, he could shoot the ball and he's an excellent player. You know, you don't look at him and go like, oh, I got to guard that guy. However, as a unit, I don't think there's a better team that plays as a team other than maybe my Hawks the last 2 games. But again, that's only 2 games. This Lakers team plays beautifully together throughout the season. They're one of the funnest teams to watch play as a team. So
unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to actually watch one of their games, but I'm looking at the roster. My pick, we're going low scoring, 57-54. Hornets pull it out at the last second.
I love it. I want to see it. I want to see it. I'm a fan of Heideiman. I'm a fan of Stevie. I'm a fan of Mikey. I want to see these guys pull it out. So I want to see. But
if it's close, if it's a close game, I don't get to check in then.
Well, it's even better for the write-up because you'll get a full.
Oren, real talk. Do you play? Do you get it? Do you go in the game?
I had 3 points on the season, man.
Okay.
That's one more than leaving.
I was 1 of 3 from the free throw line, and the Blazers gave me a sympathy bucket.
All right.
Yeah. Oh wait, it's on the gram. Check it for your viewing pleasure.
I saw it.
Shout out to Rose's wife for getting that shot.
Let's move on.
Love it.
Yeah.
This is my favorite matchup. Raptors.
By the way, Zach, this game, I would think before the season started, this would be a game we would see in the semifinals or even the championship, not the first round.
Yeah, this is my favorite game, and I'll explain to you why. If Raptors versus Kings, for those of you who don't know, if there was a brawl, a barroom brawl or a Malice at the Palace that broke out between teams, the number 1 seed in that team would be the Kings. They got tough guys who are brute, lifer, nasty. Mitnick, nasty. Moskovich, strong, mean, tough, strong. Ovner. They just got guys across the board who are big and strong. Turner, Jacoby. Like they're a tough team. Like they're a team when I see them on the schedule, like I'm gonna be sore tomorrow. Like I gotta stretch. And
my team even beat them, and I still fear them. That's why I was very happy.
I gotta say,
Timberwolves lost.
Raptors, I've been they have the most potential to unlock out of any team. And I'm the Raptors. This is I'm picking the Kings, but I'm going to say this is with the Raptors. And I'd love to sit down with Justin and whoever. They need to run the offense through Benny Tuckman like the Nuggets run it through Jokic and the Warriors run it through Draymond. They have this big who could dribble, who could shoot, who could hand off. And they have an offensive maestro in Justin Hode who is one of the best, who's perhaps the best offensive talent, pure, in this league. Impossible to stop going downhill. But they have him bringing up the ball where a guard could get in on him. If I'm them, here, I got my, I don't know if you could see it. You can't see it. It sucks. Whatever, it's a court. Imagine this is the court, right? This is half court. I'm Joe Klein. I'm bringing the ball up. I'm Justin. I'm staying in the corner. And if I'm Benny, I'm flashing top where Moskovich has to guard me, right? If Moskovich doesn't guard me shooting, I'm Joe, I'm going down. I'm setting the screen. Justin could either cut down and flare for that jumper. He could curl for the lay-in, or worst case scenario, he runs up and does that little Murray Jokic handoff where now Moskovich has to hedge. If he doesn't, he hits it. If Moskovich switches, Benny drops, roll, layup. If they over-cheat, Benny fakes the handoff, drives in for the layup. And if all of that fails, you can throw it to the corner for Aryeh for a pick and roll. They need to do what teams did to get Roy Hibbert extinct in the league, and which is I want to get Moskovich and high pick and rolls with Benny and Justin going downhill action where he has to either step up and hedge, which I'm not sure he will. And if he does, I'm slipping. Like, you got to attack them. On the other end, but that'll be I want to run Isaac Leifer through 100 off-ball screens. He's going to hug Justin. He's going to make it really hard. And I want to make it hard on him. I want to run him through screens. Do I think they're going to do this? I don't know if they'll execute. But if that's the case, I'm taking the Kings. And on the defensive end, I'm going to try to make them shoot. I'm going to run a 2-3. I want to make it so that Sammy Turner beats me on threes rather than Ari Mitnick and Moskovich beating me on lay-ins. Then you just hope for the best. But the Kings, talent-wise, toughness-wise, they're one of the top teams, and I'm picking them. They're the better. They're the better team, in my opinion.
Captain Hyde, do you agree with the Kings taking this?
I got the Kings going all the way to the championships.
Wow.
I haven't seen this team play, but once again, like the Lakers, I'm looking at the roster and man, that's a scary roster. Tough, physical, 1-7. Guys could shoot. Guys have a role. Everyone there has a job, and the team would be lacking if anybody on that roster is not at a game. That's how I see that roster. I'm a big fan of that team. I know Sammy Turner is a tough guy down low. That's I think the wild card pick on that team. What they get in the 3rd or 4th round? It's a great pick.
Yeah. He was a steal, I think.
He was a steal. I think it was 4th, maybe even 5th round. 4th round pick. Guy, I mean, team's a beast. Haven't seen him play, but team is amazing. I love Justin Ho. They beat us when they were shorthanded with only 5 guys without Benny Tuckman. So I mean, that was embarrassing, but I love Justin. I don't know if he's the most pure in the league. I would say Zevi in that regard.
Oh yeah, good point. That's my bad.
Yeah. But
I forgot about Zevi.
He is phenomenal. I expect a shootout. I expect a tough game, but a shootout, high scoring. But I'm taking the Kings by a good 7 to 10 points, maybe 77-70, something like that.
Jack, I love how you talk about the Raptors as if they're like your second team.
They are. All those guys are my former teammates, and I want those guys to win. And they're filled with my friends. Like I'm also friends with Joe Klein, Rob Halpert, and then the rest of the guys I played on the team last year with. I really see a potential for this team to unlock and do more than what they're doing. But they need to get Justin going downhill. I think they need to be in a zone. Right, starting off the bat. They need to be in a 2-3 and not let them play just Mitnick and Moskovich, punishment game. Like they need to prevent that. Just pack it in. Make sure that Sammy Turner isn't the guy shooting the threes, and they need to secure rebounds. And then I need them either getting Justin on a fast break or getting him running off curls, pin downs, flares. They need to get and handoffs. The dribble handoffs going to be huge because we did this against Moskovich in the Zion League where I had Joe Amar, and I would dribble handoff to Joe. If Moskovich had, I slipped. If Moskovich doesn't, he shoots. If they switch it, you got to attack. Or if they switch it to Mitnick, I'm just there's a potential for this Raptors team, and they're my old team. But honestly, this Kings team is a really good team. And Ari Mitnick's a superstar. Moskovich is a superstar. Isaac Leifer is a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. Sammy Turner is a knockdown shooter and gamer. Omner, I've liked what I've seen. I mean, this is a really good team. And at the end of the day, I think if it gets physical, I mean, the Kings are going to beat any team if it gets physical. They got they're like the 05 Pacers. Like they're dogs. So that's my take.
The Raptors would have to play a perfect game from beginning to end to have any type of shot. And they're on a 3-game losing streak. Their shot selection has not been all that good in the last few games.
Because what they've been doing wrong is they have Justin bringing the ball down. I want him scoring. Like Simcha Halper never brought the ball down. Like Zevi Salmon's not going to bring the ball down. Ryan didn't bring the ball down in this Max offense, whether you believe in that or not. I want him. I want him he needs to score an efficient 30 points within the flow of the offense. Tuckman needs to be a big time distributor and hit his threes, and they need a good game from Aurier. And they got a shot. But they do. They have to really make this an offensive. They have to take advantage of scoring opportunities. Otherwise, the Kings are just going to take care of business. Just going to.
The thing is, it goes back to my point in the preview that I wrote. The offense can be firing on all cylinders, and yet at the end of the day, they don't have anyone big enough to outmuscle Moskovich. Who's that going to be? Is it going to be Joe Klein?
Right.
Yeah, it's good. Should be Benny Tuckman, but then you got to worry about Ari Mitnick. So like that's why I'm playing a 2-3, and I'm crashing with all five. And I mean, I don't know. You're right. The Kings team is a better team, and they're tough. Like nobody wants to play the Kings.
Yeah.
Don't count out R.A. Halpert though.
That R.A. Halpert
on the defensive end.
Yeah.
Oh,
R.A. Halpert's a
the
first
most
teamer.
underrated player in the league.
Ari Halper was a
Easily.
first teamer this year, and I think playing with the likes of Ryan Turell and Gabe Leifer, practicing with those guys for an entire season elevated his game for this summer.
Oh yeah, dude, he had to. Yeah, exactly. He has to guard Ryan Turell every day, and then he shows up and has to guard Jack Turell. It's not. You know, he's ready to go. Like he ain't afraid of no one. So yeah, no, I mean RA is gonna make it hard on whoever he guards. Again, I'm in a zone, so like I don't know the difference. I'm looking to see it. I don't know. We'll see if they could take advantage. RA can't be ruled out. He needs to have a great game. 20 points, 18 to 20, or efficient 14, where he makes it hard for Mitnick on the other end. And you know, they need to take care of business. They really need to be efficient.
Yeah. RA was a first teamer this year, and I totally agree with what you're saying. And it's making me thankful that my Lakers lost to the Timberwolves, because if you look at it, we're on the better side of the bracket.
You don't want to be on the King side of the bracket if you're anyone.
Exactly.
No, definitely not.
Right.
Any team on our side should be happy they're not on the other side.
Yeah.
Kings are not the number one team by the record, but I think they're the number one team that everyone fears.
I'd agree. I think you see that team and you see the toughness that they are and the defense that they're going to bring and the size that they have, and dogs that they have, and you're like, there's no way. Like, I'd much rather play Jack Turell, who's a nice guy, versus Mitnick and Moskovich, who might beat me up in a box. Like it's gonna be physical. Like it's gonna be So I agree with you.
And I think most people who made brackets. Well, no, most people pick themselves, but I'm sure a lot of people have the Kings in the finals against their own team, at least on our side of the bracket.
I do.
You have your team in the finals. I like it.
Yeah. All right, moving on to a game that's actually tonight at 8:00, the Grizzlies and the Heat. It's a 4-5 matchup, but I don't think it's going to be your typical 4-5 matchup, Jack.
No, I mean, I wanted to throw it to Heideiman because I feel like I went on. I kind of took over that last round.
All right, yeah, Captain Hyde.
And I'm coming off a game with the Heat, but I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Jack LaVine, he's out for the season. Am I right?
Yeah.
For the Heat.
So Yoel Schreier could be in for a big night, but at the same time, I think the Grizz are good defensively, but I just don't see who on that team can defend Zevi effectively.
That's right. But you know what? What did we do last game, Oren? Jack, I don't know if you know about the last game, but this is exactly what the Grizzlies are going to have to do. Let me just look at the roster to see who I want to pick at. It should be probably Jordan Kleinhaus. Jordan Kleinhaus should go box.
I heard he's out tonight. I heard he's out.
Okay, that would have been great.
Yeah.
Otherwise, maybe David Rabinovich. Not that he's a stellar defensive player. You just want someone annoying. I took my last pick, the third to last pick in the draft, guarded the fourth pick in the draft last game, and it worked out. We didn't win, but it worked out supremely for us because after we played a man, we fell behind by 15 points, switched to a box and one, and we shut down Zevi, or at least slowed him down as much as any other team could have. And it was a close game because of it. They're just going to have to then worry about the shooting, which we didn't have to worry about with Scott LaVine. The kick is Scott LaVine because Gabe Davidoff and who's the other shooter on the Heat and Isaac Held. Yeah, they were not knocking down their shots. So they, with Scott LaVine, not going to get away with that. But nonetheless, I advise the Grizzlies, they got to put, one of their fourth, fifth, or sixth guy chasing around, picking up half court, 3/4 court on Zevi Samit. That's the only shot you're going to have to slow him down and win this game. Shut down Zevi Samit and push the ball because Zevi does not play defense. And he'll be the first to tell you it. We discussed it after the game. He doesn't play defense. He doesn't hustle. He conserves it for the offensive end, which works out for him usually. But he They don't play defense. They're very lazy. We were able to score at will, or at least get to the basket at will. The Grizzlies are going to have to box them one. I think that's the only way you can do it against this team. Box them one on Zevi, hustle out to the shooters, have someone guarding the paint as backup. And then on offensive end, you got to push, you got to push, you got to push, you got to push, you got to push. That's how they're going to win this game. Nonetheless, I still think Zevi is very hard to control. He's going to be hitting his shots no matter how hard you guard him. I also don't see anybody like we had, like a Beasy kind of guy, an annoying little Israeli, not afraid to foul, not afraid to get it in the kishkas of the defense. They don't have that kind of guy. So Zevi is going to go off. He's going to have a crazy night. And I'm picking. I agree with the commissioner's pick. I like that 62-50. I think it's going to be not even that close. This might be the blowout here. This is going to be a 70-52 kind of game.
Wow.
Zevi's going off. Go ahead, Jack.
All right. Totally disagree with some parts.
Wow.
With some parts, but I agree with others.
Bring it.
Let me open it by preface to this. We're all in agreement. Zevi Salmon is by far the best player in the league. Easily. Put 50 on me one day. I remember he came to my bris for my son, and I'm drunk, and I'm talking, and I'm playing him that night. I'm talking so much smack, and I'm like, you're gonna lose, you nothing, pretty boy, high school, whatever. And he dropped 100 on it. He scored like 82 points, like he killed us. He's the best player, and Scott Levine is easily the best second option. We got that out of the way. This team has been tremendously underwhelming in terms of what we thought they would be at the beginning of the season as to what they came out now. You could attribute that to a lot of things. Jack Levine got hurt. Scott Levine hasn't been always there. Teams just zero in on Zevi and just make him pass his teammates. But that highlights a weakness in this team. Again, and let me also preface this that in my bracket, I picked the Heat. We got too much talent. I don't think they're going to lose. But I think you said it the best, Oren Glickman. Going into playoffs, what form you're in. You like teams that are going into the playoffs in good form. They're relying on David Salmon to play their big man. He's a great guy. If I'm Yoel Schreier, if I'm him, in my head, I'm running all night.
You're running.
Hustling. I'm trying to bully. I'm trying to make sure that he has to sit. If I'm also the Grizzlies, I'm thinking, well, Zevi can shoot, Scott can shoot. Who else can shoot? I'm packing it. I'm going triangle 2. I'm going box and 1. I'm throwing a guy. I'm helping off the other guys on the team. Scott, I get a guy on Scott, and I don't leave him. And I just hug him. Zevi's going to bring the ball up. I'm forcing him into 2-3 guys. Let some of the other guys on this team shoot from the corner. Let Jacob Levy take a 3. Let, David Salmon could hit that shot. I'd much rather him shoot it than say Zevi or Scott. This is my biggest opportunity in the first round.
Yeah, what part did you disagree with?
That this would be a blowout on the Heat winning. I think that the Grizzlies, this has the biggest potential for the Grizzlies to win. I think now again, I look at the Grizzlies in the same way that you look like, where are they going to get the offense? But they've got it done this season. I think that the Heat coming in having a close game with the Pacers and a close game with the Hornets without Stevie and Mikey, that's concerning for me. You're playing the Hornets without their first round pick and their third round pick, it's 77-71. Yeah, you're missing Scott, but if you're Zevi Salmon, you got to score 100 points in that. We had a very good sub who almost made up for the 2 missing. So it was a wash. Mark Shapiro, he went off from 3. Yeah. Well. Fair enough. This is my biggest potential for an upset. I think the Heat have too much talent. I just think I think the Grizzlies have a chance to win. I don't think that the Heat gel, and they haven't all season. Maybe missing Jack hurts them. And I think they could just have a guy hugging Scott to make sure he doesn't touch the ball. And every time I'm pressuring Zevi at 90 feet, making him work, throwing 3 different guys at him to keep him fresh. And every time he drives, I'm trying to throw 3 guys at him and force corner 3s by Rami. Like, that's how I'm going to lose. Like, I force corner 3s by, the different guys. And if you lose that way, you lose that way. On the flip side, if I'm Yoel Schreier, I'm going to work. I'm running. I'm pounding it. I think the Grizzlies could take over. I think they could win this game.
So this
do I-
was, yeah. So this was the conclusion I arrived at. I think we all agree here. The Grizzlies win the battle down low, but the Heat win the battle up top.
Yes.
And it's a matter of,
Which is always the case, I think, with against the Heat, almost
Right,
any team.
but it's a matter of who's going to give you more offensive production. Are the Grizzlies going to give themselves more offensive production from Schreier down low, or the Heat going to give themselves more offensive production from Salmon up top? It's Salmon, no doubt.
Yes. Yeah, I hear you. I just think Zevy's gonna make me pay, but I'm taking the Heat. That's my pick. But in terms of telling what the team that is the underdog needs to do to win, I think this is the closest matchup. I think the Heat, preseason, everyone was probably really upset that they were able to get Jack LaVine, Scott LaVine, and Zevi Samit. And it was like, what the heck? But, it hasn't translated to on-court success and on-court chemistry. I think the Grizzlies could take this game. They got to keep Scott off. They got to make sure Scott doesn't get off and make sure he doesn't touch the ball. So I'm denying it. And what I'm hoping is, that will then force Scott. Like, I'm trying to play a mental game. I'm like Scott in that I want my shots. I do. If I'm not touching the ball and I'm not shooting, I'm going to start Jack Turell, not Scott, but I'm speaking on me. I'm going to start taking bad shots. I'm going to start getting the rebound, trying to go ISO, pulling up from a long three. I think the same would work at Scott. Like, Scott he's a scorer. If I take him out of the offense each time down, I'm trying to force bad shots from him, attacking the zone. I think the Grizzlies could take it, but I'm picking the Heat.
Listen, I gave Zevi a lot of flack, and I don't think anyone would disagree with this theory that the gap year in Israel, it has a factor on players because they're just not playing as regularly as they could in high school. But the Zevi Salmon I saw against the Hornets this week, it made me think like, okay, yeah, you could see by this performance why he's playing YU basketball. I didn't get that vibe with Zevi in the beginning of the season, but this week I was like, yeah, you could tell by his performance this guy's YU basketball material and why he's going there this year.
Yeah, I mean, he's incredible. He's an incredible player. He's a dog, but yeah. That's all I'm going to say. I think this has the biggest potential for an upset, but I'm taking the Heat.
All right. Yeah, my closest game of the first round is actually our next matchup, the other 5-4 matchup, Sixers Spurs. A little bit of breaking news drama. You can see I have the TBD there on the date. There's been a lot of back and forth because on whether they're going to be playing the game tonight or next week. Because if the Spurs were to play tonight, they wouldn't have Alex Kelson. If they do play next week, they would have Alex Kelson. Apparently, he's working and he's out of the country. But Alex Kelson or no Alex Kelson, I do like the Sixers in this one, and then I'll pivot it over to you guys. The reason why I like the Sixers right now, and you guys can call me crazy for saying this, the Sixers are the hottest team in the league right now, having won 3 in a row.
They look good. They look great.
They gave us the upset of the year this week over the Wiz.
Without Alex Kelson.
Yeah.
Without Alex Kelson, they have no chance. The Spurs. They have 0 chance to beat the Sixers. The Sixers right now, they're playing as a unit. They're tough. They feel like a brotherhood when you watch them on the court. They really they go to their guys. They trust each other. They are, literally are. Yeah, they got a
lot of camaraderie there. I agree.
They trust each other. They're not afraid. Like Evan Chesner getting in the face of Rafi Mitnick. Like I wouldn't get in the face of Rafi Mitnick. That's a tough dude. Like these guys get after it. They Litwin tipping the ball, keeping balls alive, keeping plays alive. I like Schmars. He could really play. They got 5 guys who could put the ball in the basket. Where if Alex Kelson is, I feel like the offense, I haven't watched the Spurs. So to be fair, it's one of the few teams I haven't watched. I just feel like
Me too.
Alex Kelson makes a lot of offense, and he's the best pick and roll point guard I've ever played with. He's a great shooter, and you have Littner. Yeah. I think I'm taking the Sixers in this matchup.
All right,
yeah, so tell me, Oren, where are the Sixers paint points coming from? Where are their rebounds coming from? Where's their interior defense coming from?
It's been from Zevi Litwin. Zevi Litwin's definitely picked it up in the last few weeks.
That's what you're counting on.
You know who
Yes.
Litwin plays like?
His
He's like the Birdman.
His championship pedigree. I've really seen him bring it in the playoffs.
Really?
Yeah. Also, Ethan Freilich, that guy's a fighter, man. He was instrumental in that upset this week over the Wiz. The guy can shoot too.
Yeah, I see you posted that. I'm so curious to see how he actually played.
He played very well. Evan Chesner and Schulman were obviously the standouts in that upset. But all five guys, look, when you play with five guys the entire game, all five guys can have some kind of a helping hand in winning. You know.
Right.
First off, Zevi Litwin, big Birdman vibes in terms of defense,
Really?
rebounding.
Nah,
He
look at
had
that.
5 or 6 offensive rebounds versus one of the better defensive rebounding teams in this entire league, the Wizards. The Wizards get every rebound, but not against the Sixers. Chesner gets on the break. His eyes light up like they turn into a fireball, and he's doing his moves and his things. They got 5 guys who could score, and they're good and they're tough and they play as a unit. I was very impressed with their team last week. One of my favorite games to watch. The Spurs, they don't have Alex Kellison. They don't have a chance. That's I think that's my take. I might get a lot of flack from my boys, the Weinbergers and Lipner. They're going to be upset with me, but
I think they win even if Alex Kellison were to play.
I think Kellison, because it just gives you another weapon and a point guard to move the
I
ball.
don't know. I mean, wouldn't you agree? Wouldn't you guys agree with this? The Sixers don't tire out. The Spurs sometimes do tire out.
I haven't
I
watched them.
could see it happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, just to come, the type of win that they're coming off of heading into the playoffs. Josh Chesner didn't play. Akiva Schulman, who's a solid role player, didn't play.
If I'm the Spurs, this is what I'm doing. And I'm assuming Alex is
You're
playing.
getting Alex Nelson to play, and
No, I'm doing that, but I'm running the offense through him. But on the flip side, I'm getting physical. This team, the Sixers team, as tough as they play, they are still small. Schmarz is small. Chesner's skinny. Litwin, he's nice. He's a quick jumper, not necessarily a high jumper, and he gets the ball very early. If I'm Lipner, if I'm the Weinberger boys, I'm muscling him. I'm bumping him. I'm boxing him out. I'm securing rebounds. I'm taking my time on offense to get good shots. I'm moving the ball around. I'm getting screens. If I'm Ellie Libner, I'm crashing. I'm using my size. I'm making this game a fight. I want this game to be physical. I don't want this game to be.
It's going to come down. I'm sorry. It's going to come down to who, like you're saying, who is going to prey on the other team's weakness more. They're small, like you're saying. Sixers are small. The Spurs are a little slower, a little bit older, but bigger. Sixers have to push. Schmarz has to really take control and facilitate the ball to Chesner on the wing on the left side, get him off the pass, driving left, getting those fouls and ones. They're gonna have to really push it, and yeah, Spurs are gonna need to pound it down in the paint. Pound it. I really hold strongly by this that the Sixers have a major deficiency in the paint. I'm not confident in the Zevi Litwin, Birdman, Ethan Freilich. All of a sudden, he's a big man kind of vibe. I'm not buying that story.
I never said he was a big man. I
see.
said the guy can fight. The guy is scrappy.
He could fight. He could jump. Yeah. So could Beasley, but he's 4'2" on my team.
Very good point.
You know, I mean, just scrappy doesn't mean big and rebounds. They're each going to need to game plan to specifically exploit the other team's weakness. And I'm with you, Oren, Commissioner, on this one, that it's going to be the game in the first round. It's going to be really close. It's very hard to pick it. I do think the Sixers pulled out. I know Schmarz. I know Chesner. These guys are fighters. They're winners. They show up when it's time to show up, and they play to their max when it's time to show up. I don't even want to make a different pick. I want to hold exactly by your pick, 55-52.
I agree. Honestly,
I really like that pick.
52.
I like that.
I think this could be the game of the round. Jack, you say it could be Grizz Heat tonight. I think it's this game.
Yeah, you can go either one. They're both 5-4s.
Right, they're both 5-4s. I think I think we've agreed on every single game so far.
We're gonna change it soon. I might change my pick to take Grizzlies, but I'm sticking with the Heat because that's what my bracket says. But I'm just saying, I think the Grizzlies could
have till 8 o'clock. You have till 8 o'clock to make that change.
Oh, I'm not changing it, but I think the Grizzlies could win.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I think the Spurs is a good game. Spurs.
There are obviously no defending champions in this league because the draft varies by year. But I will say the Sixers have a lot of those players from last year's championship team. They have the Chesners. They have Litwin. Was Litwin part of that team last year?
Go to the
Litwin
card?
wasn't.
Do you want to take this? No.
Trying to think. They had who else was on that team from last year? It was the Chesners, Dietz, Rafi Mitnick.
AJ Rosenblum.
Yeah, it's kind of like
Engelmeyer.
Which team?
It's a different team.
Engelmeyer. Yeah.
Oh,
It's
that
like a
team.
mixture.
That team
like a
was
mixture-
way too
like a
good.
mix-
How did that team happen?
Unreal. First of all, Engelmeyer should have been first overall pick, and they got him, I think, like second round. I mean, and he was the
really
MVP of the league.
Rafi's really good. Dewitt's is really good. Chesner's
It's like,
really good.
it's like a mixture of the Sixers and Wizards.
Yeah,
You know, those two
they
teams.
split up.
man.
Thank
Yeah,
God we
they
split
split
that team up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to bounce off soon. Either speed this up or let's skip to my favorite matchup, one or the other.
We got 3 more to go. We're in the home stretch. All right. I don't think we're going to be spending a lot of time on this because I think it's pretty unanimous. It's a 1-8 matchup. Jack's Hawks taking on Dan Playoff and the Nuggets. Jack, it's
Let me
your
say
game.
one thing.
So it's your
Can
game.
I ask one thing,
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Jack?
go ahead.
Especially as a big man, I really want your take on this. If we didn't see the season and it was game 1 right now, what do you think just simply of Dan's strategy? He was number 1 pick, but going big, maybe the 2 biggest guys in the league besides Moskovich and you, maybe.
So they're Gutman's bigger than me, and Moskovich is probably
Right.
bigger.
Gutman's the biggest guy in the league.
Yeah. I loved it. I thought this is what he was trying to do to start because he got these 2 big men and then he got a bunch of shooters. And I was like, oh, he's a genius. He's going to pound the paint. He's going to feed Gutman. If he gets tired, he's going to get Gartenberg. He could go high-low with Gutman up top because he has the J. Gartenberg's a great finisher around the rim. And if teams pack it in, he's got the shooters, right? You can't go zone. You can't go man. I thought it was like, oh, you go man against Gutman, dump city, right? You go zone against us, 3-point all day. You want to speed it up? I was like, it's a genius. I was like, I don't want to face this team. I'm going to walk away sore. If there's a brawl theory, they'd be number 2 on the list with Gutman, Gartenberg, Kadok, Dan is scrappy, like tough team. I don't know what happened. What
Yeah,
I think happened is the exact flip happened. Instead of going inside out, he didn't draft shooters necessarily, but he drafted guys who like to shoot, you know? So, you know, if you don't feed the bigs, they don't want to work. If you have bigs that don't want to work, then, you know, you're in a tricky position. They also don't have a point guard who could, you know, set up Dan,
Right.
set up.
Tommy was supposed
Gutman.
to be that guy.
I guess I don't know who I don't know Ami, but
Gersberg is Ty's younger brother. Ami Gersberg.
right on.
Yeah, Ami was supposed
I
to
don't know
create
either
some
of those
offense.
birds.
Then. Well, you know, Ami hasn't been at all the games, you know. And you know, Ami's like a Rondo. He's not going to shoot the ball ever. So
Correct.
there are ways to approach him. It's not just that the Hawks are a way better team than the Nuggets. They're also a smarter team.
But yeah, I mean, I was blessed to play with the Reinhardt brothers who just see the game. They're coaches' sons, like they're coaches. I'm a coach's son. I coach 7th grade. You know, just the way we talk about basketball, the way the court moves, it's just so much fun to play with them and play like that. And Gore has a super high IQ. Lifshitz, high IQ. Nat, Lobel, Frolik, like we just have high IQ guys, and it's a lot of fun to play with them. I think if I'm the Hawks, and I am, what I want to do is speed it up, right? I want to make this a fast game with a lot of shooting and a lot of speed and a lot of running. And if I'm the Hot Nuggets, I want the opposite. I want to slow it down, like whether Dan likes it or not. And I love Dan, one of my good buds, but his team needs to play slow, and he needs to dump it and work it in and try to make defenses adjust to Gutman. He which is the opposite team that you want for Dan Poliev's strengths, which is you want it fast, you want a lot of threes. But for this team there, I want to slow it down. On the Hawks, like I want to run this. I want to run. I want to move the ball 5-6 passes. I mean, the Hawks are going to do what the Hawks are going to do. You know, I didn't want to see them, but now you see them. It's going to be a great matchup either way. I think this team's really good, and I didn't want to face them in the first round.
Right. You prefer the Blazers.
Yeah, of course I did. for personal reasons. But
For personal
They're dangerous, no matter the record. That roster is dangerous.
the Nuggets
Those
is
three
good.
Guys are
And it's
dangerous.
not going to be
look,
easy.
I fail to see it. I think they're in complete disarray. The body language is all negative out there. They're faulting them. So they fault each other on almost everything. Unless Dan scores 50 points, they're not winning.
He's not going to score 50.
Yeah. Okay. So
If Dan goes to score 50, like Jack Reinhardt's probably the most equipped guy to guard Dan Polaev in this entire league, just in terms of length and foot speed. It's going to be hard for him to score 50. For them, if they want to win, they want to pound it, like really attack us. But then on the flip side, we have the size to kind of compete with it. So like I have guarded Gutman before. If he catches it low, I can't stop him, but I could certainly front him and prevent the entry pass. And Matt Reinhardt has the size, length, and wherewithal to try to stop Gartenberg. So like, we'll see. It's gonna be a fun match. Heideiman, what's your takes?
I think that this, I was so intrigued. That was my big question coming into the season. Is that strategy going to work? Is it not? It was almost like a Belichick, wild card, totally crazy kind of call. Could work, could fail. And it failed. And the reason why I believe it failed is not because of the roster. I think it can work. Dan Polaev is a top 5 player in the league. He's an amazing shooter, and he's well-rounded. Defense, driving, shooting, everything. He's just not a great captain. And I don't think he's a great leader for a team. He needs somebody else running the team, making the decisions, giving the ball to him, so he doesn't have this sort of dichotomy of having to be the guy that's taking 90% of the shots, but being the captain, trying to facilitate. And the dynamic doesn't work out, and he needs a different leader. He needs somebody who can play point guard and sort of control the team. That being said, I think this team is just one player short, is one good point guard, one smart guy, one leader short, and it could be. They could be a 1 seed. They could.
If they had Isaac Leifer, if they had Isaac Leifer on this team instead of maybe someone else,
Mario Schulman.
Yeah, Schmars. Like they're close.
I will still say, and we agree the Hawks are going to kill in this game. It's still surprising to see the Nuggets this low. I mean, I thought Dan Polaev would be like a preseason MVP pick.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have an answer. I didn't want to play him, but we're gonna have.
This is my favorite matchup.
Oh, beauty!
Go for it. Oh, you like this one? It's 7-2.
This is my favorite matchup.
Okay, tell us why.
I'll tell you why. Because I just want to pull up the Bucks roster because we played them, and then the Thunder, even though they're in the West, I know those guys. Thunder, well-rounded. They got players everywhere. Don't count out your Ron as the number 6 pick. Don't count out JoJo banging those boards. Moshe Brum, baseline Brum, knocking down the mid ranges. They're the most spread out, even keeled team. No superstar, no crazy Gutman, Gardner, Moskovich, Jack
Mason Wedgel's not a superstar.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. Totally forgot about Mason. My bad. He's anchoring down that he's got that superstar with everybody else. I love the Thunder. Brian Shore and Moshe Brum are the 2 wild cards. They can either be very cold, very hot. Both of them need to have good games here in order to put up a fight against the Bucks. And frankly, gonna be honest here, not a big fan of the Bucks. Who's their guy? Their guy is Michigan. I played him. They didn't score much. Michael Klein, he's a big boy, but he's not the biggest guy. He's not going to kill you in the paint. I don't love the team. I don't love the roster. I don't love the chemistry with them. They beat us, so it's hard for me to be saying this, but it was a close game, and we are the 7th seed.
You have both 7
it's
over
a great,
2?
Yeah. It's a great 7 versus 2 matchup, and I could easily see this as if it were a 2 versus 7 matchup. Like I'm considering Thunder almost as if they're a 2 or 3 seed, and the Bucks are. They have a good. It's confusing to me why they have such a good record. I don't. Jay Shapp, he's really a 4th round kind of pick.
So I agree with you. I agreed with you throughout. I agreed with you throughout the season. Jack, I know, disagrees with us.
Jack, bring it. Bring it to me.
Coming out of my ears. Totally
I see
disagree.
that.
Totally
What do you
disagree.
disagree about the Bucks?
This
and the
Bucks
Thunder?
team is nasty. This Bucks team, you want to know why they're doing as good as they good? They got 5 guys who could score 20 points and put the ball in the basket and shoot the crud out of the ball. Jason Michigan is a first teamer, and if I didn't score 20 second half points last night, he probably wins MVP.
First teamer?
He would have been
He's not
MVP.
only a first
Yeah.
teamer, he's an MVP. He's the runner-up. Jason Michigan's a bad dog. He is that guy. Other than Zevi Samet and Justin Hode, offensively, little you can do to stop this guy. This guy is good. Forget that you have Jason Michigan. You have Jonah Tripp, which is what every team would want in a big man. A tough, long,
He was
strong dude who
pretty
can finish
close,
at the
right?
rim and hit the 3 and defend. Jay Schapp, he could shoot. He could hit open shots. He can't pack in the paint and take away the drive. Mikal Klein, obvious superstar. He won a championship in the Young Israel League, which is the carbon copy of this one for the Upper West. He's a first-round pick, and he's great. And he's tough, and he could score. And then you have Drazen who could score, and you have – I know I'm missing guys. Maybe you could pull up the roster for – who am I missing?
Aronoff, Isaac Rosen, Koritsky, Jay
Koritsky,
Schaap.
fine.
Yeah.
Jay Schaap, Michigan, Klein, Tripp, and Drazen are 5 guys that could put the ball in the basket on their own, could hit open threes. They got so much offense, and defensively, they're so strong. The Thunder. These are the Bucks. They're my pick to make the finals against us. I mean, I obviously picked us to go all the way, and rightfully so. It's not a wild pick to choose. But the Bucks have so much offensive weapons, so many players that you need to worry about. You can't just pick, hey, if I shut down Michigan, we're okay. If I shut down Michigan and Klein, we're okay. They could beat you in so many different ways. You want to go zone, they could shoot. You want to go man, they could post, they could drive, they could score. The Bucks are a really good team. If I'm a 7 seed, I do not want to face the Bucks in the first round. And on the flip side, the Thunder, they're nice, but I just don't. I don't want to face the Bucks. I would have rather had the 5 seed. Like I'd rather have a different team. This Bucks team is really good.
It's an even keel matchup. If you're
They're
the
gonna
Bucks,
smack them.
if you're the Bucks, you got to be annoyed that you're playing a 7 seed like the Thunder. And if you're a Thunder, you got to be very okay with the fact that you're playing Bucks as the 2 seed right now.
I agree.
That-
Over the
both
Wizards or
ways.
Hawks for sure. Over the Wizards or Hawks for sure.
100%.
Yeah. I
Both
will
parts,
say I kind of agree with both of you. I mean, I have the Thunder. I mean, Heideiman has the Thunder upset. I have the Bucks. Heideiman has the Thunder upset. I will say though, I was a Bucks skeptic for the majority of the season because I thought the order of how their schedule fell out was very kind to them. But once they gave the Wizards their first loss of the season to deny them of clinching the number 1 seed outright, I was like, this is a team. This is a team.
And then they beat the Raptors by like 100. And they looked unguardable. And they gave us a game without Mikal Klein. The
Right.
Bucks are good. And Reinhardt has them also going to the finals. They got a lot of guys. This is a team, again, an example of how to draft well. The Bucks are another example of how to draft well. And in my opinion,
Agreed on that part.
if you flip it, I think the Thunder are an example of how not to draft. And I'm not knocking the guys they have. If you relook at the draft, they could have taken Mason 1, which is the right pick. They could have taken Michigan 2, which would have been the right pick. And they could have taken Hammy Alexander 3. And if you have those 4 guys, it's over.
Could they have?
They could.
That's unbelievable to think about. That's
They
unbelievable.
could have
It is
had
unbelievable
all
to think
4
about.
guys, and then Kalimnik goes in the 4th round. You could have still taken your own Schneider. You could have still taken, and you would have been fine. I like their guys. I don't want
Kalimnik's going to beat himself up over hearing this from you.
You could have had Mason, Michigan, Hammy, and then Kalimnik, and then Yaron 5. Now Yaron's now your 5th option instead of your 3rd. Yaron, you don't want to be in a position where you're relying on
No.
guys, role players to score 18 points for you to win. And I think they're in that position.
That's exactly the problem with the Thunder. They're too dependent on Wedgel. And Wedgel
Way
shut down tonight.
too Wedgel dependent. And
Yeah.
the Bucks could start the game off with Michigan on them, then switch to Mikal Klein and put Tripp on them. Tripp can guard. They could just throw bodies at them, and they could play zone. I mean, probably not because that Shore and Brown and Schneider are great shooters. They just got so much offense. Like how you have to be able to either keep up with them or slow them down. it's very, you need
You don't
big
see it. I'll tell you
Yeah.
this, I have the upset over there. I have it as a close game, but I have the upset, but the upset will only stand if the wild card guy, captain Donnie Klimek, has to start shooting. He takes himself out too much. He thinks he's imposing himself as the captain. He's got to shoot, and if he shoots, they're winning. If he doesn't shoot, I don't think they're winning. But he's got to shoot. He's the best shooter in the league, the best pure shooter in the league. Donnie Klimek.
It goes back to my, it goes back to my line of
shoot, because if I'm the Bucks, I'm just packing the paint on Mason drives and making sure Brum or Shore don't get open looks, or Schneider. If Kalibnik is then the guy and you can go, all right, I'm Mason, I'm going ISO, and I got 4 shooters surrounding me, there's your chance. If they have to play a perfect game, I just think the Bucks are that talented. I don't think it's anything on the Thunder. I think they're really good, and I like their team.
I give Heideiman credit for picking the upset. I like people who pick upsets. I don't see this one happening, but it goes back to my line of thinking with the same mentality with the Nuggets Hawks first round matchup. Unless Mason Wedgell scores 50 points, they're not winning.
He didn't need. Yeah, they need to play a really perfect Luka. Mason's got to be Luka, and they got to be the shooters on the Mavs. They really gotta knock down. Like I didn't think the Mavs could beat the Suns, but they played the right way and they did. And I think this is a good parallel because the Suns have all these talented pieces, but the Mavs have the one piece with the shooters. I mean, the Thunder could theoretically. I just don't see it. And it's not a knock on the Thunder. I think they're nice. I just think the Bucks have that much offense.
All right, 2 out of 3 there. So
let's go.
That's where it was not unanimous. And now for the final game. Blazers, Wizards. This is my first round upset, gentlemen. Do you see it that way?
I mean, tell him how crazy he is.
I couldn't go no upsets. I had to pick one.
Well, the Grizzlies.
I'm with you, Jack, man, dude. I'll be the first to say the Wizards are not as good as they were hyped to be. They were the undefeated. They beat my team when we were like 4 men short-handed by like 55 points or something. But I don't think they're that good. They got nice shooters. Dietz is a good shooter, but he's not as smart. He's not a team player. Wizzo is a great shooter, but he's also like a street ball kind of baller guy. He's not a team player. If you have a good defense, you have a smart strategy against them, you can beat them. That and handily. They're not a number. I mean, they're number 3 seed, but they're quasi number 1. They were like that, the undefeated until the last 2 games. That being said, they're still way better than the Blazers. They do know how to play together still, even though they're not the best on the IQ. They're big 3 guys. Who is it? It's Wizzo, Dietz, and who's
Rafi.
Mitnick. Rafi's a mean man.
Rafi's played poorly the last few games.
He has, but he can turn up. He is the best Mitnick in my opinion. And
wow, that's bold.
He is.
That
he is. Ari's taking a
Ari
step
over
back.
Rafi for me.
Yeah, no, but they're not winning. It could be close. It could be close, Jack. Maybe you're expecting a blowout. You think Oren's absolutely crazy. I don't think he's absolutely crazy. I'm not a huge fan of the Wizards, but I do not see an upset here. I haven't seen the Blazers play. Huge fan of Jordan Hode. We have very similar games, me and Jordan Hode. I love his style of play. They have a good top to bottom roster, 1 to 7, including a bench. They got nice players on the bench.
Shlomo Weisberg's gotten a lot of criticism.
Upset, dude. That guy was drafted in the 7th round. I think he was a 7th round pick.
He was picked right before me. Rumor has it.
Right before you?
Yeah, that was the rumor.
Yeah, okay.
It's been confirmed.
Oh no, it actually happened.
Wait a second. Oh, so who am I thinking of then? He was actually a top pick. I was thinking a different guy. Anyways, my pick is going to be Wizards 70, Blazers 59. It's 11-point win, close game, but the Wizards pull it out in the foul game at the end.
All right, you just tore into me, Jack. It's your turn now to lace into me.
Terrible pick by you, but for different reasons. First off, if I were to pick any guy to be a teammate with other than the Reinhardt brothers and the guys I have, Rafi Mitnick's got to be my pick. This guy could defend.
Okay, good. Thank God.
This guy could defend the ball. This guy could shoot. He's a good passer. He's a good leader. He's vocal. He's smart. He knows the game. One of my favorite players I don't think I've ever played with him, but like one of my most like players I respect, like for me, most respected players. The guys I walk on, I just respect that guy. That guy knows the game of basketball. That guy's a baller.
Guy's definition of grit.
Definition of what?
What happened? Grit.
Grit. Yeah, absolutely. Grind it out.
Gritty.
Grit.
Really gritty.
Dewitt, Wizzo, both really good shooters. Wizzo's a great defender. Dewitt, I disagree. I think he is. Is he Isaac Merwitz? Who is? But I think I don't think you're giving him enough credit for his basketball IQ. I think he's a smarter player than that.
Oh,
I think Dewitt, he's not Isaac Merwitz, but then again, who is? And I think Dewitt's, he's a really good player.
It's Dietz, by the way.
Dietz. Yeah, my bad. Dietz. Wizzo's tough. Burry's got IQ. Like, this team is really good. And it said Aaron Heideiman entered the waiting room.
Yeah. Let me in because my computer's about to die.
Okay.
Yeah. If I'm picking the Wizards, obviously, and I think they're a really good team, and I think they're a favorite to go to the finals also. And face us. On the flip side, if the Blazers want to win, I think we've seen what the weaknesses of the Wizards have been, and that's the 2-3 zone. That's what the Bucks played against them, and that's what the Sixers played against them. And you'd think it'd be weird with a team with that much shooting to struggle against the 2-3. However, that is the case. They sometimes take ill-advised shots, the Wizards, and they have shown a struggle to score against the 2-3. If I'm Jordan, I'm playing the 2-3 zone, and I'm trying to take them out of it. I know the Hodes. Jordan Hode does not like to play his own. I think that's his chance. I think like they have two guys they could throw at Jordan to give him problems that have size and foot speed to keep up and make it difficult. And that's both Rafi and Wizzo. You know, I'm taking the Wizards. Yeah, it's
like that.
Okay, fine.
Like that.
So,
Can I get a score prediction, Jack? I want to hear that from you.
I think the Wizards win by. I think they hear this, they get pissed, and they win by 35.
wow.
Like that. Love
I hear that. I think they
Yeah.
hear Heideiman. They come in pissed, and they win by 35. And then
Yeah,
on
they're
the
already
flip
they're
side,
already annoyed looking at my pick, probably.
I think on the flip side, you know, maybe the Blazers hear this, they go to a tight 2-3, and they pull out a win. But you know, I just think
I advise Jordan to go.
it's too much offense for Jordan to have to do on his own. If I'm Jordan, I want. I don't know. I'm taking the Wizards.
You said that you like my logic normally. You said you like my logic normally of teams heading into the playoffs with bad form, but this is the one time where you disagree with that theory.
I think I agree with it in the sense that they lost the last two games for an inability to defeat a 2-3 zone. And then that's so if I'm Jordan, I'm like, okay, let's play 2-3 and let's roll out the ball and let's do this.
I gave Jordan that advice, but he's worried about rebounds.
In a 2-3 zone?
Yeah.
Why? You mean long rebounds?
Yeah.
Long rebounds. Okay. But yeah, I think if I'm the Blazers, I play that zone and I just play our game that, you know, to see if it works. But I think they have a lot. Again, this is a team with a lot of weapons. So I'm taking the
Hey, Jack,
Heidi.
guys, this was awesome. I'm gonna bounce, but I want to ask you one thing, Jack. Listen, I picked the Hornets going all the way. I know you picked the Hawks finishing it off going all the way.
Yes,
If
sir.
it's not the Hawks, Jack, if it's not the Hawks, who's taking on the
Good way to
trophy?
end.
Well, again, I picked the Hawks versus the Bucks in the finals. So if it's not us, it's either the T-Wolves, it's either the T-Wolves, Bucks, Wizards.
Nah, just one. You gotta give me one.
Lakers. This is
Yeah,
tough.
come on.
I gotta go with I'm gonna take
If
the
it's
most
not the
politically-
Lakers, it's the Kings for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the politically correct one here. I'm gonna go with the undefeated team. You gotta go with the T-Wolves. I really like their team. They're the makeup again, how to draft. If it's not the Hawks, it's the T-Wolves.
If it's not the Lakers,
Okay.
it's the Kings. It's the Kings for me. You agree with me, Heidman?
I'm just verifying with the bracket that it makes sense. Yeah. Well, you know what? I have the Hornets over the Kings in the ships. So if you know a miracle happens and the Hornets don't make it to the championships, then that means the Lakers are winning. It's gonna be Lakers. It's gonna be Hawks. It's gonna be Kings over Hawks in the finals. That's what it's gonna be. Yeah. If it's not the Hornets.
Be a good matchup.
Yeah.
All right,
would be.
that concludes our first TABC Summer League Playoff Preview Basketball Show. We'll be back with another edition once the quarterfinals are set. Guys, we bury the Ballabot team. We bury them.
Oh no,
Love
I'm on
it.
the ball bottom.
Oh, right, you're on both. Sorry, conflict of
I'm
interest.
on the ball bottom.
What
I
is
like
that?
the ball bottom. It's the YU guys. They do the YU podcast for the
Yeah.
band. I'm a
right,
new
right.
addition. I can't talk smack. They're the best.
Okay, sorry, my bad. Anyway, we're gonna post this later for everyone to see for their viewing pleasure. And the first round starts tonight with the Heat and Grizzlies tipping off at 8. Hopefully we'll be able to stream on the Instagram page.
Hey, make sure that Levy
technical
gives it to a
difficulties.
fan to film. No corner
Yes.
BS.
Yes.
Yeah, that's stupid Zion, huh?
Jack, I'll text
Like
you.
Zion.
Jack, I'll text you if it's worth running over.
Yeah, I'm not. I can't go. I already left the house twice this week. Yeah, I've reached my max. All
Good
right,
schmooze, guys.
Thank you
Heidi
so much
out.
for
I'll see you
watching,
guys
and
around.
have a great day.
take it easy.
Great.
All right, stopping recording.